Tell you what, Gran Turismo 7 has done some epic racing this week. At Le Mans, we've had some incredible battles all throughout the week, doing several last to first challenges, but this one is extra special, coming against the most popular, most friendly YouTuber on the Gran Turismo scene, Rory Alexander, visiting the Australian servers, having an epic time in this battle here, as we're also holding on for dear life at midnight, making a move down into the chicane with slight contact as he pushes me wide. A double overtake at the end of the Mulsanne straight as the car comes back on the track. Too wide into the Porsche curves as we try and make our way up into the top four.
Oh, there we go. We're behind E-Series. Let's bring it on.
All week we have been starting as far back as we can for this race, and every race almost has been an absolute banger. Starting from last, working my way up the field, versing very fast drivers, always battling for the lead. We are doing an incredible job, and once again we are going to take the challenge starting from 15, starting behind Rory Alexander, visiting the Australian servers. We've all welcomed him with open hands, and now we're going through our first lap around Le Mans, heading through underneath the Dunlop Bridge, heading down towards, for the first time, the Mulsanne Straight. Everyone so far keeping it nice and neat, as we are a bit slow, as we see the cars travel through, coming close, all neck and neck, everyone in the battle, so no early offs on lap 1 yet. As we head on to the Mulsanne Straight for the first time, we get a compromised exit down in 15th, but P16 gives us a nice little bump. However, there's gaps forming already just in front of us. E-Series pulling away. Everyone coming down the straight, jockeying for position as they come down neck and neck. Lagoon, Mr. Lee battling for P6, Porygon and Chaos for P8. And then there's a massive gaggle of cars fighting for P10 as we go into the first chicane. 4 cars battle for position into the chicane. Bit compromised as 3 cars do not go into 1 there, as we gain a single place on the exit, as we see up ahead Rory Alexander going wide out the chicane. He's going to cop a half-second penalty for that mistake, and has put him in a very precious position right now and very vulnerable from overtakes from behind. Heading down the straight now, 2 cars behind me. Got to be defensive here, don't want to lose places here. Every place counts on the first lap because penalties and everything's going to happen. As we go through the second chicane, absolutely nail it. I've protected myself from the car behind. The cars ahead of us were too close together. The concertina effect's taken place, and it has brought us back into contention for the top 10 positions here, already up for grabs, as we go down the final hill into the Mulsanne exit of the straight here. Time your braking line perfectly. We're all neck and neck. There's a bit of argy-bargy going on as we come down the straight, heading towards Indianapolis. Moving. There must be 7 cars battling for position here. All in slipstream, all in draft. Penalties to be served. I think 2 or 3 cars have penalties here. All bump drafting, all just trying to get through. Surely something is going to happen into Indianapolis, because Bale is enough trouble as it is going. As we all go in, keeping quite a neat dual carriageway profile through the corner, with Mad Mitch getting a bit squirrely on the exit and 1 car drifting back. I think it's Ice VR. As we come out onto the final straight before the end of lap 1, people now going to start serving their penalties as we now clear Porygon and Rory. Started 15th on lap 1, and we've moved up into P10. Let's see what more we can do. And as you can see, the windscreen wipers are starting to go off. There was rain forecasted for this race. However, we're not entirely sure if it's going to be a wet race or if it's going to stay dry. There's enough to make us consider that there is going to be some wet weather conditions, but we're going to have to wait and see what everyone decides to do. Making our way towards the very end of the lap now, the final sector now. None of the leaders have pitted. Everyone has carried on through. I'm in VR, I can't see what's doing, but Rory has taken the gamble, the only driver on the track. Has he made an absolute blinder here, or has he made the wrong decision to go on to wet tyres? There's rain coming, and you can see me checking in VR. I can see myself going, Have I made a mistake here? Has something gone wrong? However, we quickly remind ourselves that it's not going to be wet enough for long, and we've concluded that it was the wrong decision to go to the intermediates, and we carry on. We just got to keep an eye on that gauge because we do not want a moment of weakness where we slip and fall off the track as we get our first half-second penalty of the race in position for P9 and P8 as we come and head towards the Mulsanne straight. And there's Chaos having a chaotic moment out the left-hander. It gets you sometimes, but that time it got him as TCR ahead of us runs wide like Rory did on lap 1. He's about to get a half-second penalty, and that's going to be a half-second penalty that we both serve, absolutely neutralizing both our positions on the track. Moving onwards and upwards now, we're going into the second chicane of the straight. TCR following him almost ideally through there, following him on the exit of the corner. We've both run a little bit wide there. I hope I've kept it in the lines because that was really close. GTI's gotten a 1 second. I've gotten away with it. All of a sudden I've got a half-second delta on him, even though I'm behind him. But we don't want to sit behind him for long as we send it up the inside into the 90-degree bend at the end of the Mulsanne straight. Moving up into 18th position now. We're halfway up the field. Let's see how many more places we can gain as we finish off lap 2 of this race. Moving along, lap 4 now, heading up towards what looks like... what part of the track is this? I think we're coming down to the end of the straight. No, we're at the first chicane of the Mulsanne straight as Noah gives me a light little bump on the entry, forcing me to cut the corner. No penalty given because I was forced off the track. Luckily, because a few words were said during the stream by me if I had have gotten a penalty. Oh well, we've held it all together. We've not gained an advantage. And we're going up for a move again. Not going to make the same mistake this time. We're going to go up the inside as we head up to the second chicane. Knowing our braking points perfectly, we absolutely outbrake him. And that is why we are constantly having good results, because we have mastered our driving line. Racing in VR has given me such a detailed perception of driving that it's absolutely insane. As we now skip ahead to lap 5, coming down to the end of the Mulsanne straight, coming to the final corner. Lagoon and M. Lee battling for position. Lee with a 1 second penalty. Lagoon going for a move up the inside. They make contact. Lee pushed out wide, tries to recover, loses position to myself as well now. As Lagoon and I head up to Indianapolis now, as I try and get my advantage from him having a bit of a slow exit with that contact with Mr. Lee. Right on his draft there, you can see my onboard camera on the top right there. As I go too wide around the outside of Indianapolis, that will turn into the inside immediately as we take track position here. We're ahead, we cover him off. I've got a very, very good line there as the gap's open just a little bit, but he pulls out of it. And just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we're up into P5, lap 5. Let's cycle ahead and see what the next move is. Moving on to Drifter Goat now. Lap 8 of 14. We've done our pit stops. We're coming through Indianapolis now, right behind him. We're that close for another position there. We're almost in the podium positions. And on track, we are net P4 at the moment because P2 TCR has still got to pit. As we get a beautiful exit as we go underneath the Porsche banner. Neck and neck coming up the hill here as we send it on the left to the right. I remember saying on stream here, we've just got to try and force a mistake out of him here because he's got the inside line. And tell you what, I must have been psychic here because he's gone deep. I've gone up the inside. We're too wide going through the Porsche curves. The outside becomes the inside becomes the outside, and once again it becomes the inside. And we hold position and take the lead of this battle as he gives us a slight bump as we enjoy the sunrise. And we move up to P4, which in a moment's time is going to be P3. Tell you what, it's a very nice peaceful race after that. As we watch Big Bird, lap 12 of 14, about 8 seconds clear of me, slowly catching up, but nothing really happening. That half-second penalty is not going to be enough for me to bring it into. But as he goes to Indianapolis, he's gotten on the power just a little bit too soon. Slightly more worn tyres than normal. He's facing the wrong way, does a U-E, and there I am, right behind him. And he's got to serve that half-second penalty right now. I wish it was a more intense battle for this position, more deservedly won. But he's got the penalty, he's made the mistake, and just like that, we're on P2. But it's not over yet. Big Bird Racing and I have had some extremely epic battles in the past, and you can check them out on my TikTok as well as my YouTube channel for more Le Mans races, specifically the Group 2, where I go around the outside of the pit lane on the final lap to overtake him for the race win. Big Bird keeping up with me through the Porsche curves. The last 2 laps are an absolute enigmatic battle for the P2 position. I wish I could say here that I chased down P1 for the win, but he is just, as you can see, his fastest lap there, more than a second a lap quicker than me. He's just on a level that I just can't compete with, unfortunately, but he's done a banger of a job, and kudos to him for doing what he's done. As we go on to lap 13, we pretty much, at this point, got Big Bird covered. His slightly more worn tyres have kept him behind as we skip ahead to the end of the final lap, flashing his lights at me, just trying to enforce a light mistake to try and get him that P2 back that he lost. A great cooling down moment between him and I. We had a little catch up, hadn't spoken in a year. He said, "It's been good to battle you again, mate, because we've had some good battles in the past, and this was no exception." Started from 15th, got all the way up to P2. Big Bird Racing started 3rd, came 3rd, and the other drivers, all 16, stayed in until the end of the race. And it's one of those races that you just have to really, really enjoy sometimes. And this had to be one of the best races I've had all week. Had to do a full commentary of it because I was just so happy, and it was just so good. It was nice to be in a famous Streeters lobby. As we see Drick to Goat, we overtook the Porsche curves. Doc Hudson, who had to pit. Lagoon, who we got a double overtake on after the double, as he pushed the car wide. Mr. Lee was pushed wide before serving his penalty. Noah Fubricks, who pushed me off wide, down in P9. Crossing Chaos, Mad Mitch in P12, and Rory all the way down in 13th. Those tyres were not the right choice as Porygon sends it into the wall. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, think of subscribing. Thank you.